Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Soft Talk. As you can see, we've already been talking and laughing and trying to figure out what we're going to be talking about here today, right?
No, this is all serious, Michelle. So,
all serious, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a great guest on there for us. I can't wait for you to hear her words of wisdom. Michelle Bushee is a great realtor in the Pittsburgh area, and has been, she loves building relationships. She knows what it's all about. She knows how to do it. And we want to bring her on here today to see if we can get some more tips. So Michelle, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure. Well, hey, tell us a little bit about you, girl. I mean, you came from a legal world, didn't you? Weren't you in your prior career?
I did. I have a legal background.
We told Michelle we wouldn't talk about her.
Travel in the world.
Okay. Go ahead, Michelle.
All right. In all seriousness, I do have a legal background. I traveled in the world of adoption law for about a decade, handling the adoption for kids in foster care here in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County, and it was very rewarding. But life took a significant turn for me in a number of ways, which led me to go back to the law school where I got my first degree, and I was taking real estate law, and I had lunch with a few colleagues, and they said, "Are you insane to go back to law school now?" At the time I was 43, and they thought I was crazy, and they said, "Why don't you just, if you love real estate law, why don't you go sell real estate?" And I was like, "What?" And here I am, and it's been a fabulous journey. So I don't regret it. It was absolutely the right pivot in my life at the time. It gave me the flexibility that I needed, still raising my 3 kids on my own, and it's been great. So so I pivoted. I went into real estate. I now have a team. I'm with Pyatt Sotheby's International in Pittsburgh, and we are cranking it. We were shut down for 2 months due to COVID here in the state of Pennsylvania, which was a little insane because people still needed to move, but we were not allowed. We reopened last Friday, and it's like we never slowed down. It's been crazy. So it's been really good. But what the shutdown allowed me to do was to share this incredible program called Send Out Cards with all of the agents in my office. And many of which immediately jumped on board and said, that's exactly how I need to stay in touch with my clients, my friends, my family. And I think it's just easier now because we're in a new age of not being able to be face-to-face with so many people. And that would include all your personal face-to-face, not just business, but I didn't miss a birthday during the shutdown. We had 3 babies born in my sphere. I was able to send baby gifts, baby cards. There were 3 deaths in my sphere. I was able to get sympathy cards out. And quite frankly, who wants to go into a store right now and touch cards in this age of COVID? You can create something so much more personal. I have always hated shopping for cards in the store. You stand there and you read what the card says, and it's nothing like what you would say, right? And it just, you start singing the words in your head, and then you put the card down and you go to the next one hoping it's a little bit better. But Send Out Cards lets me write exactly how I'm feeling and how I want to celebrate that person. And it's been wonderful. So
Michelle,
it's also what?
Yeah, Michelle, tell, I remember when you and I met for the first time, you invited me to a networking thing because you heard about this card thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and at first you knew it was a great concept, but it's like, how can I make it work, kind of thing. So tell the audience your first card you ever sent.
I have it right here next to me. It had nothing to do with real estate, nothing at all. This is the first card I ever sent. It's a thank you card, right? And my mom at the time, so I've been in Send Out Cards since February of 2017 when I met Joy. At the time, my mother was rehabbing a medical situation here in my home, and we had her nurses and her physical therapist coming here 3 times a week. So when that I think she was here 6-7 weeks, her physical therapist, you get to know the people in your home. My mom had recovered and she had gone back, and then I met Joy. She had gone back to her house and I met Joy, and Joy said to me, just send a card, like just who would you send a card to? Think of somebody that you could, thank for something. And I thought, oh, well, Mom's physical therapist was amazing. And so I sent this thank you card to her. Nothing about real estate. And on the inside of it, I just said, Liz, I wanted to say thank you for taking care of Mom during her recovery at my house. She was back in the hospital recently for an unrelated issue, but is on the mend. You made such a difference coming to the house to rehab her after her fall, and I hope you are doing well. Thank you so very much. The back of my card, I was with a different broker at the time, but the back of my card was branded. This is where I'm at now. And I sent her this card, and I sent her that box of 2 brownies. And she received the card and she called me and she said, I just wanted to thank you for sending that. That was so nice. I mean, most people don't thank your mom's physical therapist, but I did. And if you listen to the words that I wrote, it's exactly how I felt. It wasn't some pre-configured thank you card at the card store. It's exactly what I wanted to tell her, give her an update on my mom. And she said, I noticed on the back of your card, you were branded. That's my old brokerage. She said, and we are getting ready to move out of state. Would you come over and take a look at our house? We'd like you to sell it. Mm-hmm. Had no intentions of that. Went over to the house, did my thing that morning with them. I was there for about an hour and a half. And when I left, she tapped me on the shoulders, and she's like 5'2". She tapped me on, and I'm 5'7". She tapped me on the shoulder. She looked up at me. She goes, you know why I called you? And I said, no, Liz, why? And she said, you sent me those brownies. Those were delicious brownies. She really remembered the brownies. So, magic brownies. And this is the very first card I ever sent and send out cards. And so I keep it and I show it to people because it was just a way for me to show gratitude to somebody else. Yes, you can brand the back. No, I don't always brand the back of my card. But when you make people feel special, they remember that. They remember how, she didn't quite remember that I did real estate, even though we probably talked about it while she was here in the house. But I made her feel something that she hadn't felt even in all those conversations at the house. And I think that's where send out cards just up levels your game as far as relationships. And it's relationships with your family, with your friends, with your neighbors. I'm going around my neighborhood right now. There's a whole bunch of signs in the yard for seniors. Everybody's got a senior sign because seniors can't graduate. And I'm sending them all a congratulations graduation card with a box of brownies. Like, just make people feel special. Everybody needs that right now.
So let me ask you this question. You say you showed a lot of your realtors in your brokerage. How are you coaching them? How do you send out cards? Because a lot will look at it and go, great, I can plaster my picture on the front, I go to the middle, and I tell them what I do. So how do you coach them knowing what we know?
So a couple things. The one thing that I do always when I close on a house, I have a couple examples, is I do a closing card. And I'll tell you why I do a closing card. When my kids were little, we lived in a house for about 2 years. And I have very few pictures of that house. My kids are now grown. And so I can't really, that memory's gone because we didn't really photograph it for whatever the reason. We didn't have cameras on our phones back then. And I was busy with 3 little kids under the age of 5. I'd like to be able to show them the house, but it doesn't exist. So because of that, I thought, when you sell a house and you buy a new home, I want to send you a memory card. So what I do is, when you buy a new house, I put congratulations on your new home and welcome to whatever the street is. And then on the inside, when you open it, this is the old house and it says goodbye and it puts the address. And then I have a professional photographer on every home, no matter the price. So I put the old house on the inside. I pick like 8 of the best pictures. And then if I happen to take a picture at the closing of my clients, and then I write a personal message. This isn't, pre-thought out. Dear Tom and Julie, you guys are the clients every agent hopes for. You followed my counsel, shopped in a cool kid neighborhood, and had a lot of fun along the way. A little keepsake for our journey together, right? And I am branded on the back. This was my old brokerage. They never throw this card away, ever.
You're right.
Who's going to throw this card away? It's a memory, right? So that's one way I do it. The other way I do it, this one is really interesting. Now, I realize that the days of open houses may be gone temporarily. Who knows? We'll see. This is a house that I had on the market last spring in May. So this is one of the pictures from the house. Everybody that came through, I had a killer open house that day. We went under contract very quickly, but everybody that came through the house that did not have an agent got this card. You can make it before you do the open house, and then you just write a little message on the inside and you're branded on the back of the card. This particular client, who is now a buyer client of mine, told me that she had been looking at houses for 3 years. And I said, oh, who's your agent? She said, well, I don't have one. She's been looking at houses for 3 years. Nobody followed up with her. Not one agent. I sent her this in a box of brownies. She's my client now.
Mhm.
It's that little extra something that nobody else is doing.
Absolutely.
So what's one more? One more example. This is a great one. I was interviewed to be a buyer's agent for clients that were moving back to Pittsburgh. He is a former pirate and was coming back. They had lived here for a period of time, but they were interviewing 3 agents, and I knew that on the phone call. They lived out of state, and it was a phone call. This was last year. And I got up, so they were interviewing, and they were making their decision based on that phone call. So I didn't have a Zoom phone call with them. I just had a phone call. I was trying to tell them everything that I could do different. When I got off the phone with them, remember, he used to play for the Pirates. I pulled this picture off the internet and I put it on the front of the card. On the inside of the card, I put their name and I said, I and the rest of Pittsburgh are anxiously awaiting your arrival. It would be my sincere pleasure to work with you to find your home here again. Put my signature on it. I didn't even brand this one. I just put me on the back of it. And I put it in a box of 2 magic brownies. Guess who got the job? I got the job because I did one little thing that set me apart from the other 2 agents that they interviewed.
Yep, exactly. Those magic brownies, doggone it, right?
Yep.
They should rename them.
I also
magic brownies. Yeah.
brownies.
Well,
I
now
also
careful.
send magic brownies when I get referrals. Anybody that ever refers me a client through one of my networking groups or a past client, I always use a referral thank you card. I send them the box of brownies, write a personal note, brand it on the back. It's so easy to do. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. Well, I always, and even all the cards that you showed, I mean, you had the pictures in there, but your message was simple. The inside was simple. Everything was just very simple. And, that's, who can't do that, right? With that. So, hey, Michelle, just kind of switching gears here a minute, because, knowing you for a while, and working with all kinds of real estate agents and business owners out there, the one thing that I come across and I hear from people is like, oh, I got something good. I don't want to tell my competitor, or I don't want to, I've got this in the bucket, this is what I'm doing. What is your thoughts on this?
So my thoughts have always been, and they will never change, is that we build each other up. And if you are helping the agents in your office succeed, and I don't care if you're a competitor of mine or not, this is my mindset. If I help my agents in my office succeed, look, if you all sit down and you write down your top 100 people, we might have 2 people in common, maybe, if you're lucky. I mean, statistics, I've looked at this. This is the truth. But if you help everybody in your office succeed and they're getting more business, then we're getting more of our signs in the yards around the community. And it's more brand recognition for your brokerage, and it helps your brokerage succeed. And when your brokerage succeeds, they help you succeed and you help each other succeed. And it's a collaborative mindset that I know does not exist in a lot of brokerages. I send these, when I close a deal, I send these to the cooperating agent on the other side. I always send a picture of the house on the front, and I thank them for the transaction, and I put it in a box of 2 brownies. How many of you are getting something like that when you close a deal from the other agent?
Right.
It's so easy to just be kind, and let's face it, like, we need more of that, right? So I just feel like what you give out comes back tenfold. And, I have agents in my office. We just did this presentation, Joy and I did it, and agents in my office are like, thank you for seasoned agents that have been in the business way longer than me. Thank you for sharing this with me. I can't believe that you shared this with me. Why wouldn't I share this with you? It'll help you be successful. And it just brings, you can be the start of the collaborative environment in your office. And your business will change because of it. I guarantee it, because it's happened to me.
I think you make a great point, Michelle, because if you take that, I'm not going to share it with anybody. That's a stingy mindset, and where you're saying, no, try it. And we all know as well, you could share with 100 agents, 20% will, maybe 80% will sign up, and 20% will do what you're doing. So, it's just, no, this is a great tool. Use this. It's a great way to build relationships, show kindness and gratitude, which you're doing a lot of. So thanks for that. That's a great mindset.
Yeah, definitely. That was always one of the biggest things. I was so impressed when we got to know each other, that you had that mindset and you've had it all along and you've never changed.
Yeah.
I think that's very crucial. And, we're talking on the real estate world, but you do the same thing with anybody you're working with. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have clients like these. I have one of these big cards. So this is clients of mine, and they have a grandson now, and they taught him how to ski this winter. And she was posting all these pictures. Here's the thing. Nobody's printing their pictures.
Yeah.
Nobody has photo albums under their coffee table anymore like I have from when I was little. Nobody's printing their pictures. So we do these jumbo cards, right, that are $1.50 extra. They think I went to Kinko's and this cost $15 to print. It did not. It cost me the $1.50 extra, right?
We won't tell them the
Because
secret.
I'm on the $97 subscription because I don't go to bed at night until I get at least 2 cards out the door, and it's usually 3 or 4, to be honest. So they had all these great pictures on Facebook of him learning how to ski. I wrote a little message. I put the ski resort on the back. This is sitting on his dresser, and he loves the fact that he's on this card. Like, he's 4, and he's like, this is my card. I did another one recently, which these are clients of mine. She posted this on Facebook. I was literally laying in bed at night, scrolling through Facebook on my phone, saw this picture, and they are the most adorable little boys, and they were out mowing the lawn with their dad, so I dropped it on the card. I wrote them, this is during COVID and lockdown. Liz, I just had to print this photo for you, such a priceless moment. You will appreciate 10 years from now. I'm the mom of now 2 grown boys, so I appreciated this. I hope you guys are doing okay with the lockdown. Let me know if I can do anything for you. She texted me. She's like, oh my gosh, the boys can't believe they were in the mail. They insisted. They share a bedroom and this is on their dresser. They never throw this away. And then you can personalize the backs of these. You don't have to brand yourself all the time.
Right.
Most of the time, I don't put the branding on the back. That's my dog.
Yeah, I remember that picture when you had it on Facebook. I think I took that instead of carding you with that picture.
Yeah, it's a bird thing, right? And I have a girlfriend who has a farm, and I get my eggs from her. And so I made this card just thanking her and the girls for the eggs that she's been providing during lockdown. And my back's different on this one, right? And she was so appreciative because, who sends their egg lady a card, right? I mean, it's just so easy to do, right?
Exactly. Well, you bring up a good point as you're saying about these additional cards you're doing. It's so important to stay in touch with your clients afterwards, and show them they're personal. I pulled up a stat from the NAR report, the National Association of Realtors, recently, that said that 90% of your buyers they say they're going to use you again, but only 24% do. Why is that? Because they've forgotten your name. They might remember your brokerage, but it's branding you, and you're putting yourself in a very wonderful place that people are not going to remember just the company. They're going to remember Michelle.
For every month you are not in front of your clients, the national statistic is you lose 10% of your influence over that client.
Wow.
So it really only takes about 10 months for them to forget about you. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather be sending people cards with chickens on the front and staying in touch and relationship with them that's personal than to try to go out and get the new client. And quite frankly, for realtors right now, very difficult. We can't hold open houses anymore. You need to go back and be in touch with your sphere right now, your past clients right now. You don't have a way to bring in new people unless you are working your referral base. And referral business, look, somebody refers a client to me that I've already done business with. That client comes to me and they already trust me. They're like, tell me what to do. Chris said to use you. I trust Chris, therefore I trust you. So I stay in relationship with everyone that way. Interestingly, I was on a call, a training yesterday, and they were talking about the 8x8. So if you are, let's say a lot of realtors farm a neighborhood, okay? but they don't have a relationship with them. This is how interesting staying in front of people was. They had this program yesterday called 8x8. So for 8 weeks, you send a piece of mail to the neighborhood once a week. So 8x8. And then after that, you transition to 12x12, which is one thing every month. They created a fake agent. There were other agents that were farming that neighborhood, but they created a fake agent and they did this mail program, 8x8, and then they transitioned to 12x12. And they went around and they asked the people in the neighborhood, who is the agent for the neighborhood? Do you know that 80% of the people said the person that was the fake agent that was doing the mailing to the house?
Wow.
Because it was the name that came top of mind, because
Right.
that agent stayed in front of them, in front of them, in front of them. Even though there were other agents that had already sold a lot more homes in the neighborhood,
Mhm.
their name did not come top of mind. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Very
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, I think that's a cool thing to end on. So we can tag all our realtors we know. You better stay top of mind.
But I'll tell you what, if you're a realtor using this, you know who else can use this is your home warranty rep, your home inspector, your painter, your landscaper, your construction guy that you call in for odds and end jobs. They all need to stay top of mind in front of people. Anybody can use this. This is not just a realtor program.
Yeah, because that 8x8 and then 12x12, that's anybody that,
Mhm. Mhm.
just what you said. So yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
I'm just happy I have it. So thanks, Joy.
well, I'm just so glad you're using it. You're such an advocate for the power that it has, and
Yeah.
the power of the relationship. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I do believe, I think we all believe, this time, even coming out of this pandemic, competition is going to be a lot more fierce. Out there, there's going to be a lot more people vying for the same thing than what
Right.
used to be, and it's those people that are building those, maintaining those relationships, and being there and in the heart of
Yeah.
them, are the ones that are going to be remembered most. So,
And I firmly believe Maya Angelou said people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And it's just proven itself over and over. I will say, I'll end on this for you, Sean. The first year that I implemented send out cards in my practice, I directly traced back cards in sales, and I added 1.1 million in volume to my bottom line. So
Nice.
I know it
Worth the
works. The
investment?
first card I ever sent.
Worth the investment?
Worth the investment. And guess what? If you share it with other people and they sign up, it pays for your subscription.
Absolutely.
So it's like free money.
Yep.
Really.
yeah.
Well, awesome.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for
Yes,
joining
thanks,
us
Michelle.
here today.
You're
We
welcome.
really appreciate you. This one is going to help a lot of people. I mean, many of them do, but this will definitely be
I hope so.
something that will help others. And I know that's where your heart is too. You're never in this for yourself. You're always in this for everybody you're around you. So
We would be so
appreciate
much
you.
better off if everybody helped everybody else.
We're getting there. That's our
We're getting there.
task. So
That's the mission. Yeah, that's our mission to do that. So, well, thank you, Michelle.
Thanks,
Love having
Michelle.
you on here, and good to see you, Sean, and for
You too, Joy.
everybody.
Thanks, Sean.
You're
We
welcome.
should keep count of our episodes. We don't even know what episode this is, but we've been doing it well.
4,322.
A long
Love
time.
it.
Maybe not
Thanks,
that many.
everybody. See you next
All right.
Thursday.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.